All right. Thank you again for inviting us in Illinois this special weekend for the great event we had yesterday. We learned a lot from many couples that was invited as well. We enjoyed the event, and today we just want to listen to you guys, get some advice, some tips, how we can get better in our new home and in our new relationship. And we want to ask you guys some few questions. How you guys did it? 16 years is not 16 days. It's not 16 months. It's a lot of time. It's 365 times 16. It's a lot of days. So I want to hear from you guys and try to have a great family as well. So can you guys tell us a little bit of advice or tips that can help us to grow better in our relationship?
That's a very good question, my brother. I'm so happy that you guys took time out of work, out of your busy schedule, and you make it here for this 16th anniversary. It is a good thing that you ask such a question because it's challenging. I know when newlywed, like couples, when you are married, the first thing is you have to understand one another, because there will always be ups and downs, but it is how you deal with the circumstance that surrounds you that will make your way through. Just so you understand, the first few years you get to understand your spouse. You understand her love languages. You understand what she wants, and you provide it to her. It's just like marketing. Marriage is like marketing. You understand your customers, and then you supply, you provide what they need. If you do that, if your spouse understands you, you understand her, there will be zero problems. I say zero. Because that I'm saying this out of experience. What I've done for years, because from the beginning, it wasn't, I can't say it was as smooth as the floor is. We had to understand a few things, but we understood that it takes time to build up. You build up your marriage. You build it up. It doesn't just fall from somewhere. You make it. Do you have something to say on it?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Gaetan and Sister Yvonne, for honoring our invitation. You made a whole difference. You coming here this time around was a game change for me and to my husband and I as well, and to the entire event too. And I really, really appreciate your support. And as far as marriage is concerned, like my husband already said, you have to build it. It doesn't happen on its own. Marriage doesn't happen by default. If you let it happen, it will default to what you will not like. So you have to invest in the marriage relationship, appreciate each other, speak their love language, and then you build what you want. You become who you want him to be. You do what is good, and you say what is good. We like to hear I love you. They like to hear you are the superhero. Let's tell each other what they want to hear and build each other up, instead of listing what they don't know how to do. Sometimes you can even praise him even when you need faith for what you're praising him for. You can tell him that he's a superhero, but he needs a lot of faith to believe that he is actually a superhero. But you are telling it to him because you are bringing that out of him, and it doesn't come out the same moment you say it. It eventually comes out. Yeah, the moment you start telling him he's a superhero, he's on the floor, he starts getting up, he falls again. He's still a superhero until he stands tall and jump and then flies. So that's how you bring it out, instead of saying, see, your friends are flying, you're here crawling, look at you. No, you bring out the superhero in your husband, and you bring out the angel in your wife, because if you do not feed her affection, she'll become a monster. She'll become a demon that you created. But if you feed her affection, she'll become an angel that you cannot imagine. So
Thank you so much for the great answers. I have another question that I would like to ask.
Yeah.
So I would like to know how you guys manage like the kids and the relationship? Are the kid interfering the relationship? Are the kid making the relationship stronger? How you guys are handling the kids and your relationship? Are the kids coming in as a plus to have the relationship to grow, or maybe having multiple children slow down the relationship? I would like to have some advice and to know more and learn from that and try to copy what is good.
Let me start by answering this. That is a very good question. I've had this question all over. People are asking me, how do you guys do it? How do you manage with the kids? The first thing you have to understand is that by having kids, it's a blessing from God. If you have that in mind, that it is God's blessing, whatever the circumstances, you'll be able to do whatever it takes. You should understand that these kids that you are seeing, we are just like shepherds that God has sent. We are just there to watch over them, though they are our kids. You are worshiping God with the kids that you have. You think that they are your kids. They are, yeah, but you are doing God's work through the kids. I know your question specifically was about the relation, whether the kids they hinder our relation to move as it ought to, but I will tell you the answer is no, because there is always time for everything. You have to schedule yourself. I have my time with my wife. The kids are there. We know that we have to manage the kids. Like this morning, for example, I got up very early with her. We rushed to the kids' room. I told her, okay, you go in, shower the kids. I will be dressing them up. That's just the way we manage things, and it makes things easier for us. The moment she's showering the kids, I'm dressing them up, and it was so swift. So multiple kids, if you have one, you have two, you can have 10. I'm not saying that, yeah, if you have one, you can manage one, you can manage two, you can manage 10. Right. If you understand that it's a blessing, you are doing God's work. So I will pass it to my wife. She has.
Yeah, he has said most of it, and that the first thing is that you receive the children like a blessing. Children are not a mistake in the house or in the marriage ordained by God. It's a blessing. And when you first of all receive the children as a blessing, and then you render care to them as an act of worship. You render care to the children as an act of worship, like a service to God.
To God.
It will not be a burden to you, because if you are looking at the responses of the kids and the circumstances surrounding raising kids, it can overwhelm you.
You start thinking that it's a burden.
When you have in your mind that it's an act of worship, that these children are a whole, although they're babies, this is a whole standing up man tomorrow who might run a ministry of his own, who might be maybe a pastor, a minister, or a person, influential person in the world, a servant of God, then you know that you have a serious assignment in your hands. That you are nurturing this person like you with fear. They say in French, tremblement, crainte tremblement. Like, this is a whole. Just keep in mind that your son will be a pastor tomorrow and you don't know anything about. And someone revealed to that this pastor you have in your hands. You will not play with that kid. So when you are taking care of the children, take care of those children as an assignment from God. And when you see it that way, it will never be something that you take for granted. And talking about kids and our relationship, we know that marriage only works in the first place. After Jesus Christ in our lives, our priority is each other. Like after God in our life, He's the priority and I'm the priority. The kids come after us. So everything that we do is after us. Every decision that we take from the kids, I cannot take a primary decision on the kid despite him. And we vice versa, we don't do that too. Sometimes the kids might try to manipulate, but they already know that they cannot manipulate us. They have tried several times, but it has never worked. So they already know that if mom said no, don't forget it, don't go to daddy. Yeah, because he always said, did you check with mom? So it doesn't affect our relationship. The kids already know that mom and dad don't even temper them. So it doesn't affect our relationship. We create time for ourselves and we create time we do intentionally. If we let it default, we will not have time for ourselves.
You just mentioned
Yeah.
something. Let me elaborate a little bit. As you guys, your kids are still little, you find out that as they grow, they are looking at you both, and they are developing maybe ways of playing you around. If a kid comes to Yvonne and says, "Hey, I need this," and then you say no, that kid would rush to the dad and say this. So the way what we did is we developed a tactic. If a kid comes to me, I will ask that kid, "Did you tell your mom?" If that kid said yes, and then what did she say? Because if she says no, I will definitely say no. If she says yes, I can say yes. If it's something that she wants them to come directly to me, she will tell them to come directly to me. Do you know why we do that? The main reason why we do that is because if she says no, I say yes, I'm already sowing a bad seed in the house. The kids will start thinking that mom is bad, of which mom is not bad. If I say no and she says yes, they start seeing me as the bad man. So for that reason, we have developed this idea of both of us. If we say yes is yes, if we say no, no matter you meeting with one of us, we would say the same thing.
And sometimes too, he might say no, and I feel like no, this should have been a yes. I will not disprove him there, but I'll make a negotiation about it. Like, this thing like this could be a yes, and let's go back.
But not in front of the kids.
Yeah, I'll say no. Sometimes we speak French. I know Peace has started learning French because she wants to find out why we are always saying in French. I'll just say in French that, and not in a way that the kids think it's about the situation. That no, this situation like this actually, you were not here when this problem started. Justice is the other person. So ask about it more. They'll tell you. Like, I'll just hint him in French, or I'll say, actually, she has been hungry. She didn't have a snack when others were having snacks, so it's actually her turn. And then he will figure out a way to resolve it. I don't just cut him off. And I have walked into that way. It didn't happen spontaneously. At first, I could just say, but I've walked myself up to learn how to not to disprove him in front of the kids. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
And then with time, our relationship, we create time for each other, and we intentionally create time for each other. And that time is when maybe when the whole morning is so when we get up in the morning, usually before he goes to work, before the kids get up, that he's preparing. That's usually the time we chit chat. We chit chat. He's going around. I'm walking, or he's walking around. I'm walking around him. He's coming back. I'm coming. We are just chit chatting with each other, talking about everything. Then he comes down for breakfast. I come. Then when I prepare the kids, and when I prepare the kids, I take them to school. Maybe I'm on the phone with him. If he's having a less busy, sometimes he has very busy day at work that I cannot even get hold of him. But sometimes, if his work is in a way that we can talk while he works, we can be basically on the phone the whole day. Yeah.
Yes.
So that way we catch up on stuff, and then when we come home, we have dinner together. We always eat together, and yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So my question now is, how do you guys resolve conflicts? Because I know you cannot tell me you all don't have conflicts sometimes. How do you go about to resolve it, so that it doesn't pile up?
Which strategy you can
What
use?
strategy do you really use
to resolve our conflicts? Yeah, actually, we know that we are not angels. We are humans, so there should always be conflicts. But this is what I've realized, or what I've been doing for years. To resolve your conflict, it should be, you look at your partner. That's the first thing I said, is you study your partner. When you understand your partner, for me, if I find out that my wife, something is boiling in her, I will not utter a word. I will not talk. I will stay quiet. If I stay quiet, then when I find out that she is calm, then I reason her then, and it has always worked.
Yeah, likewise, we just have a strategy that if one person is upset, the other person stays calm. I don't think we have an issue where all of us are boiling and quarreling. We don't. I mean, we can have over something that is not a problem. Like say, no, these glasses are lenses or they are red. Don't you say this color? We can have that intense conversation. But if it is a problem, like if it is a conflict, if one person is really upset, if I realize that he is upset, I keep quiet. I have no right to speak anything. Whether what he's saying is wrong or not. And usually when he does that to me, I feel very guilty after I explode. I always feel guilty when you are upset and you are talking to somebody and he's not responding. After that you find yourself a fool. Yeah, after that you find yourself a fool. I just feel horrible. I always go back to apologize for the outburst because I just mess up my day myself. Yeah, and then when he explodes, I do the same. We do that strategy for years, and we really don't get into conflicts like that.
Okay, my last question is about family, because when you're married, you have to deal with family-in-law in both sides. How do you sisters-in-law? Like for example, I'm married into a family where I have a lot of sisters-in-laws, and so how do you resolve issues? Say for example, if your in-law maybe does something that you don't like, do you, Papa Henry, would you take sides with your, like, how do you go about resolving family? Because there's always going to be small
There will always be, but this is what we have always done. I always talk about the power of we. The power of we. We is the most powerful tool that we ever develop in our marriage.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Right.
If you understand that power, my wife, in her family, whether in her family or my family, there's nothing that can be done without that is we. If you have a family where you can just do something to your family without your partner understanding or knowing that you did this, it will not be good. So if my family is talking to me, they know that they are talking to both of us. If I send something, it goes to them as such. We just sent you this. Same in her own family, and it has always worked. So when you talk about conflicts, conflicts, they come up mostly because of material issues, so far as family is concerned. But if you use the power of we, I'm telling you, this is out of experience. It works. It works.
I can see it.
Yeah, and the thing is, marriage works in the first place, and we have been able to take each other's family like our family. And whether it is an accomplishment or a failure or a challenge that we face in either family, we take it as our battle, our success, our issue. And family members sometimes try to manipulate. Yeah, they try to manipulate, just like the kids. They try to manipulate you, or they just want to test their ground to see who is weaker or who is stronger so that they can manipulate. But we have always presented ourselves like one, like we are we are not manipulating material, right? So we always present it that way. Whether it is a problem, it is a challenge, or an accomplishment, we celebrate it as our. Yeah, celebrate it as our. If we are having a problem with my family, we all handle it as our problem. We are having this issue. What is it? And I will not take side with my family because it is my family. If it is for us, if it is right, it is right. And if it is wrong,
It is wrong.
it is wrong. Yeah.
Sometimes when her family calls, she will say she's still waiting for me. If I come, then we can. If it's something that needed, but we have to talk about it. And they all know, they understand that nothing can be done.
But some family members don't like it.
Yeah, they don't like it, but
But
we know that.
it's not.
it's
It's
a
God
habit.
who said that marriage is in the first place. It's not us.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
If you don't,
sometimes they will ask, did you check with your husband yet?
yeah, there's some family that encourage members that
Encourage
encourage,
them.
but some don't handle it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't like it that you are our daughter and we sponsor you and you have to check with somebody, or you are our son and that woman and stuff like that. They will try to manipulate you, but it is God who put marriage in the first place. It is not you. You are paying your tribute, your worship to God, even if it is hurting man. So those who understand will understand and go along with you. Those who will not understand will deal with it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the great advice. We really appreciate it. And we are always happy to be in Illinois.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to next year.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I think we should be doing this event every year. I think
We
it
need
has
to get
started.
ready.
Yeah.
We need to start getting
The
ready.
impact I had from this one has actually given me a boost.
Yeah,
And I think we should be thinking about doing it every year.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Change topic of event.
Change the
Yeah.
topic of events and even venue. I think we should go to a boat ride. Boat
That
ride.
would be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When they
Do
ship-
one the sea and why not in the plane?
No, not on the plane. In the ship can be better.
Yeah, you can fly in the plane and go and come back.
I mean,
Fly to.
with time
Take
we
it.
can
And
progress.
We are thinking.
we are thinking,
We are
right?
thinking money wise.
Right.
Because the plane is.
There are human beings who fly planes, not aliens. People like you, same nature, same nature like you, that your friends flying planes.
I know.
Yeah.
Step by step. Yeah, we're gonna think about it, make it
Yeah.
fun, work together, and have
Eventually,
something.
yep.
Yeah.
With God, everything is possible. We never ever knew that we could have an event like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have always been fidgeting in the basement, in the house, behind houses and stuff. I mean, it took a more serious note there. People could come on time, and if it was in the house, some people would show up at 5, some will come at 10 in the night, and it will not have that impact.
Wow.
Shakespeare.
Thank you guys so much.